right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. However, you are consuming this podcast. I do appreciate you all. Big shout out quickly here to both of our sponsors, Sunny Reds, 1841 Aber Road, just down the way from Highmark Stadium, and Imperial Pizza, 1035 Aber Road. Best lunch special in town. Make sure you go check them out. South Buffalo, Lackawanna area. All right, folks, Monday podcast. On the video side, we are actually live around 9-ish on a Sunday night. The Miami Dolphins absolutely embarrass the Buffalo Bills at Hard Rock Stadium, I should say, 30-13. So the Bills get 2 interceptions from Tua and lost by 3 scores, folks. Let that shit sink in for a little bit. Miami stopped the run. The Bills got under 100 yards rushing, and they ran all over the Bills, nearly 200 yards. I could go in to a bunch of stats to show you how bad Miami was coming into this game, but odds are you probably already know that. And I'm going to say this too. I don't care if it's cover 1. I don't care if it's cover 9, Locked On Bills, or with all due respect, any media outlet. If I see over the next couple days you posting a plethora of positive Bills clips, I promise you, respectfully, I am going to call you out. This team fucking sucked on Sunday. They sucked on offense. They sucked on defense. They sucked on special teams. They sucked coaching in-game. The game preparation sucked. The script sucked. They played this game, Joe from Queens, like it was their birthright to be able to just get off the plane and beat the Miami Dolphins. Completely embarrassing. What's going on? How you doing? Probably better than me. I would think right now you got a beer in your hand, of course, as always. What do you got, man? What's going on?
I'm sick, so I'm a little under the weather.
You're going to drink your way through it, though.
Yeah, I'm going to drink my way through it. I have a Forever Fest beer. It's like a Fest beer? I don't know. It's like a German beer. It's fine. But yeah, I feel the same way. I'm a little sick, and like I said, Pat's going to be he's going to be taking the lead tonight, I think. This is going to be like the Hulk Hogan special where I'm just going to feed into him. I'm just going to be in the corner. No, you know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like Andre the Giant and Haku in like WrestleMania 6, where Andre just sat on the apron and Haku did everything. And I came in and like something happened and I think I punched Bobby Heenan. That's it. So like, this is going to be the Haku show. So go ahead.
Let me, before we get into the game, it's related to the game. I want to start with a statement and kind of get a response from you and everybody in the live chat on the video side. Appreciate the comments. I'll try to get to as many as I can. I don't want to be fixated on the comments the whole episode where I'm not paying attention to what Joe's saying or not thinking about what we're going to talk about next. But I will get to some of them. I will highlight them, and maybe we'll do a pod bag as well later in the week. But here's my biggest takeaway from this game, and it's not really so much about the game itself. Joe, the only thing to me that is as aggravating about this football game is the timing of this football game. Like, I wish that this game happened last Sunday instead of this Sunday, because there is no way on earth that Brandon Beane could have watched this football game and concluded anything other than what you and I and most people have been bitching about for quite a while now. This team needs a receiver who can win when you know you're throwing the football, not when it's 1st and 10, not when you're up 3 scores. When it's 2nd and 9, when it's 3rd and 7, and you got to have it, they need a gotta-have a receiver. They don't have anything that resembles that on this team, and the middle of that defense is just not good enough. Reportedly, and I know you've heard about some of the trades, we've all heard about them, that broke on Sunday. Kind of had an idea of some of it before that too, but nothing was done. So to me, the biggest aggravating thing about this is there's nothing they could do about it. This is their team now, Joe. There is no potential, well, we could go get 1, 2, 3 guys who could really help turn this season around. They don't have that luxury. The trade deadline is come and gone. That's what I'm more mad about, I think, maybe almost as much as the outcome of this football game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. And it's, this whole week has been kind of, it's been a lot of damage control, I feel, from the Bills with, Brandon B doesn't make a trade like you said. He comes
Hmm.
out and he's like, I'm pissed off. And he does a little song and dance where you're like, oh man, I'm really, he's selling really much how much he loves the Bills and I couldn't do it. And like, I'm supposed to be like, that's a man that he tried. And it's like, great. I hate Doug Marrone more than anything. I mean, there's other things I hate more than Doug Marrone. But Doug Marrone had a slogan that was like, don't get effort confused with results. And like, he's right. Like, good effort, you
Yeah.
didn't make a trade. And and this goes back to the offseason, because that was a big issue. The wide receivers. We've talked about this for years now. We talked about it in the offseason. And if you're going out and trying to get like Waddle and guys like that, that means like you're panicking a little bit. Like you're going for the shooting for the stars, stuff that should have been addressed probably in the offseason when you think
Yep.
about it. And he was like, nah, he was arrogant about it. And we heard it, we talked about the Jeremy White stuff and him going on the Beane World Tour of telling everyone that the Carolina Panthers are the greatest team ever. This week he talked about how this is a Super Bowl, this is a championship team, or whatever the hell the slogan was, and then he started going, talking about the days of yore when the Panthers had Jake Delhomme and like, I've been in the Super Bowls. It's like, dude, you were there like 10, 12 years ago. The league is completely different, and that's what he does. So yeah, great. And I think the stories coming out like from the NFL Network about him doing this. Refresh me if I'm wrong. Was real quick the Waddle deal? He didn't want to give up a first this year. It was a first in 2027. Was that the story?
So according to reports on NFL, I think it was Tom Pelissero this morning, he said that the Bills offered a 2026 third and a 2027 first. And Miami did not want a 2027 first. They wanted a 2026 first and more, which would have been a first and a third. Now, I don't know this to be true for sure, but what I will say is if that trade didn't get done because Brandon Beane insisted on giving up a first rounder in 2027 over this year, then what are we doing here? What is your goal? If you didn't get a clear-cut number one receiver because you would not give up a first-round pick next April and said that you wanted to push it back to 2027, if that was the reason Miami ultimately said no, then shame on Brandon Beane. Shame on Brandon Beane because that's repulsive. That's a bad general manager right there, if that's the case.
Yeah,
According
and
to that report, I think that's what they said. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Well, I know for a fact that Miami wanted the 2026 first or what the Bills offered. I don't know if the reason why the trade didn't get done was because Brandon Beane insisted on it being a 2027 instead of a 2026. But that's why the deal ultimately didn't get done. And if that's the case, if that's the reason, that's just awful, man. It really is. You know how I feel about how do I say this the right way? When it comes to this roster, what made me mad this week was after the Bills did not do a trade, and Brandon Beane on Wednesday spoke to the media, and he was clearly frustrated, and he said that he was like any other fan. He said that he would have bet money that they made a trade, and he said he went home as mad as any fan would after work on Tuesday. He said all that stuff, and a lot of people were like, "Well, hey, he tried. It's not like for a lack of trying." You know, Joe, this is what bullshit, all right? Because I don't want to hear that you tried to make a trade. This is professional sports. Like you succeed or you fail. I don't care about trying. This isn't Little Loop. You know what I mean? You don't cover a team like we're covering Little Loop. Oh, hey, you want a participation trophy because you tried to make a fucking trade?
you mean
I mean,
Little
you
League?
get it done or you don't get it done. That's how it goes, man.
Do you mean Little League? You said Little Loop. What the
Little
hell's
Loop.
Little
Well,
Loop?
in football's Little Loop. You don't
Okay,
know,
I was like,
you never heard of Little
I've
Loop?
never heard of Little Loop. I'm sorry.
Really?
No, I'm like Little Loop. What the hell is that? Like a hula hoop? All right. So okay, cool. Little Loop. I never learned anything new from you, and that's the first. So thank you, buddy.
Really? You've never heard of that?
No, I never heard of Little Loop. But here's the thing. To go back to it's so weird that why would you fight and want a 2027 pick? Like that's kind of like him saying like I think it feels like to me like you think you're going to be shitty this year, and then the draft pick's going to be lower. So it's like, I don't want to give that up. Kind of like, why wouldn't you just do that and like give it up? Like that's so weird by him. And I don't know. It's all. I'm not a giant Beane supporter over here. I mean, and look, it's McDermott deserves some of that too. Like he is. It's very tough to figure out sometimes. Like who's the master here? Like is Beane? I know by GM like his GM is the Beane. Like in terms of him, but Sean McDermott got Beane that job. I mean, if McDermott wasn't the GM, the coach, he would not have been hired here, Beane. So I don't know how much there. I still think like what we saw today was once again a lot of philosophy differences where your roster doesn't match your philosophy. Of like, hey, we're gonna do short passing, and then you don't really have the best route runners, etc. We're gonna be a great defense, and the back seven has issues, and like they're trying to. It's like square peg, round hole, that type of shit. But yeah, I'm not happy with Beane, and I think he had a year ago at this time. I think he had a lot of fans here, and then because he dealt with the Diggs saga and all that crap, and it probably wasn't his fault. And I think everyone dug him, and now it's like he has bypassed McDermott, in my opinion, as the villain, if you will, of the Bills squad right now.
That's fair. Do since we're sticking with Brandon Beane here, and then we're going to get into this game because at the end of the day, Brandon Beane wasn't on the field fucking fumbling the ball and throwing ugly interceptions and missing tackles and things like that. It was the players who played awful, and they are not going to escape blame, especially on this show. But since we're on Brandon Beane to begin with, I'll share this much. I've told you, you know this in private. I've heard of a couple deals that the Bills were working on that ultimately did not get done. It felt to me, and especially after hearing the reports on Sunday or today, that kind of confirms it. Too many eggs in one or two baskets, where there should have been layers and layers and layers, finding a way to improve this team. If you're going to go big, do whatever. I mean, and they also, by the way, the report said that the Bills were the highest bidder on Jalen Waddle. Make it, if you want him and you're the highest bidder, make an offer that they can't refuse. I don't know, but that really sucked. But I'm going to tell you the difference right now, how I feel right now about this Buffalo Bills team as opposed to the last couple of years. I feel like the last couple of years, this roster was good enough to win a Super Bowl, to get to a Super Bowl. They fell short because a couple players didn't execute in critical times in the AFC Championship game and the divisional round. A few players didn't execute. A couple coaching blunders, a couple coaching mistakes. Obviously 13 seconds, but some coordinating issues. But I never felt like the roster wasn't good enough. This year, the difference for me right now, and with the trade deadline passed, they're not going to do anything about it. They can't. I don't think this roster is a championship caliber roster right now. If Josh Allen is not lights out, and we're seeing this year, and we'll talk about Josh in a few here, but he's not going to be lights out. He's not Mr. MVP week in and week out. This is not a good enough roster. And if you don't think so, go look at the fucking stat sheet from this game, and you will see Jordan Phillips and Jordan Poyer and Dane Jackson and Solomon playing a bunch of snaps. It is just not good enough, dude. It's not good enough. That's the problem.
Now, let me ask you this, though.
Sure.
At the end of the year, I'm going to pretend I'm Derek Boyko and that I'm going up to Brandon Beane and going, these are what the points you want to make. Excuses, call them. Mm-hmm. He's gonna play injuries. Like, that's gonna be the big thing.
There's some validity, though. Some.
That's. I mean, I feel bad for the defense. I think a little bit. Like, the defense is down to like no one. Everyone keeps getting hurt, and it's just like, I wanted to have this. It's not right. I'm too sick to have a rant, but it's like, this is like one of the worst years I've ever seen for injuries, and it just goes to show you that a lot of things with injuries, it's just like luck. And like, you could sit there and like, I remember when they built that stupid like training facility, and there were so many, couple Bills reporters, I won't name names, but they were ball washing Brandon Beane because like, oh, not him, but the Pagulas, because they built this thing. And anytime there was like the injury report was clean, they were like, oh, well, like, it's because of this the facility they made, and they mentioned it all the time. And I was like, dude, like, come on, like, you've watched enough football to know it's really about luck a lot of times, and that's what it's at.
Definitely, luck, you're right. And I will say, I have never, ever, ever considered injuries anything but luck. I'm like, these are world-class athletes with world-class trainers. They're getting hurt. It's unfortunate. And a lot of injuries are just unfortunate. Like what happened to, apparently, it looks like Landon Jackson might have torn his ACL today, which
Yeah.
really sucks because this year was already pretty much a wash for him. And that means next year pretty much will be as well. But there's been injuries like that a lot. But what I will say, and Sean McDermott kind of hit on it a little bit in post game, the strength and conditioning coach they brought in this year, Will Greenberg, I think is his name. It is. It's Will Greenberg. There have been an unprecedented amount, it feels like, of soft tissue injuries. Jay Skursky brought this up post game. I think he's spot on. Look at how many injuries they've had to calves and hamstrings and groins, things like that this year. Samuel, Kincaid, multiple times. Shaq Thompson, Milano with a pec, Bernard, ankle, a calf. Tehran missed today with a groin. Benford missed today with a groin. There's been a lot of soft tissue injuries with this team, and I've never been the person who's ever wondered, are they doing something wrong with their conditioning and strength? But I don't know, dude. Do you start to feel like it's kind of valid to question that when you hear about all these soft tissue injuries that the Bills are suffering through?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like I'm not a doctor, but I think you have to start questioning all these injuries. Like it's a ton.
Yeah.
And it's been that way in my opinion, it's been that way since like 2022. I want to say there's been a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And I know, hey, look, maybe you can bring up the Chiefs roster and they've had injuries, etc., and blah blah blah. But it's just something that it's bad, and I think it's something that they can deflect off. Like if you want to clean house at the end of the year, like if they don't make the playoffs, we'll just say, and you want to clean house, the number one thing they're gonna say is, hey, look at all these injuries. We have all these guys on IR. Like, the everyone eats memes that the Bills Twitter likes to post. They'll post a freaking Simpsons in the hospital meme, and they'll be like, oh, look at these wide receivers. They all got hurt, or the defensive lineman got hurt, and we're down to this, that, and the other thing. And, okay, good luck with that if you want to sell that to the public.
So listen, and I know that we haven't really gotten into the game yet, and what we're talking about is more big picture stuff than the Bills just going out and putting forth an absolutely disgraceful effort in this game at Hard Rock Stadium. But I want to pull up a comment because I think this is valid. It's from Alex Barber, 762, and he says, this feels like a coaching loss too. McDermott didn't have them ready to play. He sat guys who might have been able to play, and he botched a third down challenge. Sure. My question for you, Joe, is it seems, I wonder if the message from Sean McDermott is starting to get a little stale with this football team. It seems like it's harder and harder for this team to get up and play good football. And they've looked uncharacteristically sloppy now in all three of their losses this year. And in a game where it looks like the opponent wanted it more. And that's not me saying that. Deion Dawkins said that after the game. He said Miami wanted this game more. Like, how does that happen? Sean McDermott's in his ninth year now. You start to wonder if there's a little fatigue. And again, his message getting stale, maybe a little contender fatigue. They've been in the mix for so long, but don't break through. And then you go through games like this and you start to question, like, do you need something fresh, something that's a spark that maybe they don't have?
I don't know about the speeches in terms of getting guys prepared. I mean, they had before that punt today. I think they had they opened the game with six touchdowns or whatever you want to. I think every game this year. So they've had good starts. If there's anything I want to fault McDermott on, it's just how he, in my opinion, I think he wants this team to play complementary football, and I'm just going to give my definition of it: of you run and you pass well. The problem is, in my opinion, they don't have a complementary passing game. They don't go down the field. We know that. They do those stupid wide receiver screens that suck. And then they're trying to get up, dumping it off to the running backs. Like there's no down the field passing. So there's no complementary there. And then, I don't get, after I think it was 2 weeks ago and I was bitching to you about this, but he talked about how he wants to pass. And then I think it was Sal on the radio was fans who think that he doesn't want to pass, you're wrong. And it's no, I get that he wants to pass. Every team wants to pass, but he doesn't want to pass a lot. That is the issue. And you can just see it because look at the roster. Look at the wide receiver room. Look at how he wants to win 21-24. He does not want to win 38-30. He loves his defense. He stuck up for his defense today, even afterwards. And I saw some validity to him doing that. But I'll always go back to last year against the Rams. They freaking scored 42 points, and he comes out of that game going, we need to run the football better. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He wanted to run the football better because he wanted his stupid defense got torched, and he wants them off the field. And that he wants these long death by paper cut drives so his defense can stay off the field. And then his defense, to me, and not to jump too much around, but today they got smoked at times, and like they held on from like with duct tape. But if you're giving up field goals or you're giving up, oh hey, we held them to like X amount of points, like victory. But if you're giving up a lot of yards or you have the ball, like the Miami touchdown drive, that's a 92 play drive where like the longest play was like 15 yards, and they killed them. And then it was like they chewed up clock. And then even on the scoring field goal drives, you'll have that as well. And then that means your offense can't get on the field because you're having these Super Bowl 25 drives or whatever the hell it is. So that's my issue with him. I feel like he just doesn't. I don't think he wants to. He wants to pass, but he doesn't want to pass a lot. If that makes sense. Everyone wants to pass. That's it.
Makes perfect sense. Video side, we're going to take a 5-second break, and we'll literally be right back. Joe, I think part of the problem a big problem of this offense is that it is too predicated on being successful on first down. And they've done it a lot this year by running the ball with James Cook. It didn't work today for the most part. I looked up a number. James Cook ran on 1st and 10 12 times in this game.
Jesus.
9 of those 12 times that he ran on 1st and 10 were for 3 yards or less. The Bills have been great at throwing the football when they're running effectively and they can run play action, throw on first down, or, it's 2nd and 3 or it's 3rd and 2. The problem with this Bills offense is when they lose first down and it's obvious that they got to throw the football, things fall apart. And again, that comes down to me to just not having a money guy. Dalton Kincaid, it's the closest thing they had to that, but Dalton Kincaid is becoming a guy. He's becoming a guy, and he had a drop in his game, the weather. I'm not going to kill him too much for having a drop, but he's becoming a guy that it's getting harder to rely on because he's getting hurt too much, including this game. And he might be missing a few games from what it looks like with that hamstring. But I'll also say this. I love Josh Allen, man, and I also understand he's trying to do too much. And when you try to do too much, sometimes it just leads to critical mistakes in his football game. Josh Allen was 19 for 25 for 231 yards in the second half. But that doesn't mean a lot when you're responsible personally for 2 awful, awful turnovers. He threw that interception to Dawson Knox in the end zone. That was a terrible throw and an even worse decision. And then on that tush push, he got it, and then some. He was starting to break away. I don't want to say show-off mode. He was just, the play. He should have went down. He didn't. He's trying to drag 2 guys. He fumbles the ball, and he loses it. Both those turnovers were in Miami territory. The one was in the end zone. You add that with a James Cook fumble. 3 turnovers for the Bills, all in Miami territory. But Josh Allen just responsible for that. But I also think, like I said, he has to do too much. He threw 2 first down passes to Kincaid, Joe, and then he threw one to Keon that ended up being a touchdown. We'll get into that in a second. But every other completion he got on this game that was more than 2 or 3 yards was him improvising and buying time for somebody to get open because nobody could get open. Yeah. Bottom line is he's being asked or he's feeling like he's got to do too much. Guys ain't getting open. The running game never got going. I wonder what his frustration level must be with this football team. What do you think?
When Josh Allen's hair looks like shit after games, you know that his frustration level is back. Because after the game, his hair looked terrible. I remember 2 years ago it looked terrible too. I'm not going to kill him too. It's a fumble. I'm not going to kill him too much on that fumble because how many times have we seen Josh Allen carry everyone and their mother down the freaking field?
I get it.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to you got to go down. We ball wash him whenever he does that. And so, but the interception was bad. He said he was going the Shavers. I don't know if you saw that in the post game, but he said he was going the
He
Shavers.
did. I watched the replay. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
I'm like, what? I was like, what do you? Yeah, but that was a bad play too. He just, and the thing is like, if Josh doesn't have his first read, he's screwed. And you know what happens? He does the little Randall Cunningham. I'm running out of the pocket and I'm gonna run around.
He
like
has
today.
to though. That's how he's
No,
making
I
all of his
know.
plays today.
I know, but that's on your boy Joe Brady, who just his offense just is. It's just it doesn't have enough guys that are getting open, and it's too close to the line of scrimmage. And I think if you stop James Cook, you stop the Bills' passing game, and that's not what I wanted 2-3 years ago. That would have been blasphemous to say, but they want to do this, run the football and let that, and then once and this is the one thing, and like I know this is gonna sound kind of two things like about this offense. Like, I know they came back in the Ravens game, and a lot of that was like, I don't want to say luck, but it was like the Henry fumbles it, the tip pass that went to the touchdown. This does not, I'm making this example, like it just does not feel like an offense that can come back if they're down by like a couple scores. It just doesn't feel that way at all.
No.
Like even today, like they were down a couple scores and it just felt like it was forever. And that's what happens when you don't have the big play ability down the field. And it doesn't, the one drive they had was like a 5-play drive. They like zipped down the field. And it's like, maybe you need to do that more, like up-tempo style, and stop getting all these other guys on the field. Like, I'm sick of seeing Ray Davis, on the field. I'm sick of, like, Ty Johnson had an okay game. Like, he had some nice catches. But still, like, I don't need, like, everyone eats. Like, shut up. I don't need to see everyone eats anymore.
I think
like,
that's dead right now. Nobody's eating, man. Or people are starving right now. Meanwhile, by the way, Matt Collins had 6 catches for 100 yards.
God.
6 catches for 100 yards today, Joe.
Excuse me, your boy Stephon Diggs, who you said lost a foot or lost a step, excuse me, and a foot.
Oh, I don't remember saying that.
Oh, you definitely said that. You said it like 35 times. Where's Tooch? Tooch has the archives.
Tooch is in the house, or he was in the house early. He made an appearance in the live chat.
No,
my guy Tooch.
No, don't change the Tooch subject. No, you said that numerous times that he lost a step when he was leaving. I said, I don't think so. I think it's the offense. And let me bring this up real quick. Wide receivers. How many wide receivers? Joe Brady's been in this offense for like 2 years, right? How have the veteran wide receivers done that they have signed or guys he's inherited? You think about it across the board. Gabe Davis wasn't very good when Joe Brady came over. Stephon Diggs wasn't very good. Like, his numbers went down, and everyone
they went down the drain when Joe Brady took over.
Yeah, and then we go to Curtis Samuel. He doesn't even exist. And then, your boy Matt Collins, like, respectfully, his numbers were less last year than they were a couple years, like with the Raiders or with the Falcons. So it wasn't like, oh, he had this all-pro year. And then who else am I missing? Like, there's other, like, Palmer's hurt. And I mean, I'm sorry, he had 12 catches before you put him in the Hall of Fame because he caught a foul.
That's a big injury, bro. That's Josh Palmer being hurt's big.
The point I'm making is all the wide receivers that have been with Joe Brady have all went down previously they had like a resume. Like Shakir, you could say, okay, like he got better, but Shakir was like a rookie under Dorsey. He wasn't really playing all that much. Keon Coleman hasn't been better. Like, I'm just saying, like that's on him. Like, these wide receivers of all, whether you want to say, it's all I'm not like, Josh struggling or the talent isn't there with the wide receiver, which is part of it. I think the wide receivers just in general have struggled. Like, Stephon Diggs was awesome. And then all of a sudden Joe Brady comes in and he's like, hey, you need to cut shorter passes because we got to go 1-0 on Twitter. Or whatever the fuck he does.
Do you know, to me, the biggest difference in this offense this year from last year, especially when it comes to the passing game, because they have been, look, the Bills came, let's not forget about the first 8 games. The Bills came into this game dead first in the NFL. I mean, they were leading the NFL in rushing. They've been great at running the football. I'm talking more about throwing the ball or passing when you know they got to. Everything this year just feels draining, like hard. Like, every blade of grass feels like it's defended against the Bills' offense. They got to work so hard to move the ball. There's no freebies. Like, you watch other teams playing other games, and there's drives where they just effortlessly throw the ball down the field. How many easy chunk plays, do you see from this team per game? 1? Maybe 2? Like, they had some chunk plays today, but they weren't easy. They were mainly Josh Allen running around for fucking 8 seconds before he finds somebody. It's hard.
Yeah.
Everything's difficult.
It's terrible. Yeah.
The receivers stink.
Yeah, it's bad. And this is all, I mean, this is on Beane and it's on McDermott because as I told you, I think McDermott wants to have this ball control offense and he wants to build the lines and he wants vintage Carolina Panthers 2014 football with Cam Newton throwing the Ted Ginn and 75 defensive linemen and 75 running backs. So great. Happy because, they won so many Super Bowls in Carolina, the goddamn dynasty.
This is going to be a waste of a question. But I can't help myself. I got to ask. I know what fans want. If we put up a poll, I know what the result would be. Is there any chance whatsoever that Sean McDermott, he don't fire Joe Brady, but maybe he takes play calling duties away from him and gives him the Cromer or something else to try to generate some kind of spark with this offense? Give it to another assistant. I have no idea who, but by the way, Joe Brady with another fucking end around Elijah Moore for a yard loss. It was only on a 2nd down and 5. But again, it put him into a 3rd and passing situation. Yeah. I don't know when he's going to scrap that play and shoot it straight to the fucking moon, but he did it again. But anyway, do you think there's any chance whatsoever that he does something when it comes to Joe Brady's play calling ability, like this coming week? Any chance?
Not this week, but I think if they struggle against the Bucs, you can maybe talk about like if they struggle badly like this week, because you can make that conversation maybe. But like I don't know, like
I think it's too late.
Well, look, I think they did this. When did they fire Dorsey? Was around this time frame when he got shit canned back 2 years ago.
It was Denver.
But by the way, did anyone ask McDermott if he took over play calling, or was it still like
nobody asked him, but everybody knows it. There were reporters during the game. I don't remember who, but they were tweeting during the game that it was very obvious that Sean McDermott was calling the plays on defense. Shared my ass. It was 100%. I had to look it up. You're right about Joe, but you are right. By the way, so in 2023, when Ken Dorsey got fired, it was after the Denver game.
Mm-hmm.
That was on November 13th.
Yeah.
And Monday is November 10th.
Yeah.
So I still don't think he's going to do it, but I was wrong to say it's too late. It's not too late if he wanted to make a change from I don't know. It's really bad. And again, the receivers aren't helping him. And listen, let's spend a couple of minutes talking about Keon Coleman. Actually, before that, the wide receivers. You're going to look at the box score after the game. Josh Allen threw for 300 yards. A lot of that's empty shit as far as I'm concerned. Shakir, 7 catches for 58 yards. Okay, that's fine. That's a Shakir game. Curtis Samuel, 1 catch for 21 yards. And that was, again, on a 200-yard, 20-second Josh Allen scramble. Yeah. Elijah Moore, 2 catches for 9 yards. At halftime, the Bills receivers combined 3 catches for 13 yards, combined as a unit in the first half when they went into the locker room. Now, Keon Coleman had a 35-yard touchdown. And I know a lot of people, the optimistic ones, and maybe some people are going to call me a hater. I'm not impressed, and I don't give a shit, okay? First of all, Ethan Bonner, who's their 4th-string corner, that's the equivalent of Ingram. That's the equivalent of Ardane Jackson, okay? That's what Ethan Bonner is. He beat him, and it was more the corner turned the wrong way. It's not like Keon smoked him or anything like that. It was just a play that was made. On the day, even with that catch, 3 catches for 46 yards, and he has now not had a 50-yard receiving game since week fucking 1. So 8 games running now. And I'm going to tell you right now, we'll look it up on Monday. I've already seen a couple slow down replays because people were noticing this on Twitter. He's not running hard on some routes. It's amazing. You got to see it to believe it with your own eyes. He is not running some of his routes hard at all. It almost looks like he doesn't want the football on a route. Maybe an improvisational route or a streak. If it's not that, it's almost like he doesn't want the football. I'm not saying it's the case. I'm telling you that the routes he's running is looking that way. It is awful. I am ready, throwing all these old names in the hat that's pissing me off. Gabe Davis is a guy I think I'm ready to see. I don't want to see Gabe Davis, but I'd rather see Gabe Davis than Keon Coleman at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's he's you're right about the running, like how he's running routes, but it's also, I'll just say this: they're also just doing shitty route, like doing these chucking into him like 20 yards on the field. Like that's not what he's supposed to do. And
Giveaway
it goes,
reps. There's giveaway reps as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, I mean, but they are trying. The difference between, the funny thing between him and Elam. Elam, in my opinion, he's bad. Like, don't get me wrong, but they knew right away he was bad, and they didn't play him. They were like, "You suck. Like, get out of here." Like, they never
Who?
played him. Kyrie Elam, when they
Oh,
had
okay,
him,
okay. Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry, when they had him, they
Yeah.
didn't play him from like day one, and it was like because they knew he stunk. Keon, they are like forcing him down everyone's throat. Like, he is playing no matter what. He leads the team in snaps.
By a
He's
lot.
by a lot. He might be the most targeted guy on this team as far as I'm concerned. Who knows? Like, he might
He
be leading the,
was.
yeah,
No,
he
I'm
might
sorry. Khalil had one more target today, but you're right, man. He's
yeah.
right there.
But the point is they are trying everything in their power to make him work. Like, they're just like
Yep.
playing him. And like that
Yep.
shows desperation from, like, I would say the GM, or anything like that, because it's right now. It could be the pick that, I don't want to say it's Brandon being fired, but it could be the pick that's gonna even turn people more against him, because he's what happened.
It
They
should.
decided
It
they
should.
decided Pat. They decided, I'm just gonna put my Brandon Beane, like, head, whatever hat on.
Hmm?
He didn't address the wide receiver position as well as he should have, or with wide receivers, because I think in his mind, I have Keon. He's going to be the man. You got to play him, and he's not been good. He hasn't been good at all. Aside from that Baltimore game, and now it looks like he's not happy here. And I will say this: I think he's going to get traded in the offseason for
So do I.
something.
This is
I
his
think.
last season. And I agree with you,
I mean,
Joe.
yeah. Unless he turns it around, I think he's out.
Can I say something? I think
Sure.
he was in the mix to get traded last week.
Mhm.
I think he could have been traded last week under the right offer. I'll leave it at that. I think he's not going to be a Buffalo Bill in 2026. I'm almost confident in saying that. I don't know if you saw the post game, Joe, but Josh Allen was asked if like he made the most of the operator. Keon made the most of his chance. It's like this pause and this He said eventually, yeah, he made the most of his chance, whatever. Or like that play worked, or so I don't remember. I'm paraphrasing.
I
It
thought
didn't look
McDermott.
good though. Josh didn't look. There's a lack of confidence Josh has in Keon Coleman, and they're forcing it. It's just not working, man.
Yeah, it's not. And I don't know. I have no. If you were to tell me, look, let's go look at big picture a little bit here, if you don't mind. Unless
Hmm.
I'm
Go ahead.
they're 6-3.
Yeah.
The things working for them is that the AFC is to me still wide open, even though it sucks for the Bills that they're in the Patriots division. Like, it sucks. Like, if
Yeah.
they're in a different division, we can be like, hey, just get all that sort of stuff. Like, those are, and then they still have Josh Allen. Like, and even though he's a little cracked right now. Um, it's just crazy to me. Like, a week ago at this time, we were ball washing everyone from the Bills, and then a week later, we're miserable. And
Very fair.
I'm not saying that we're wrong in that. Like, what do you want us to do? But like, if they win next week, then then it's like we're the vibes are back. They're 7-3, and then if they lose, but now the schedule's harder now, and now it's like you had to. I cannot stress this enough. Like, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm sick. This game was so bad. Miami, and we haven't said this enough. Miami is terrible. They're a 2-7 football team. They fired their GM, and this loss to me, it's more embarrassing than the Jacksonville game, because at least the Jacksonville game, they lost 9-6. The defense showed up in that game. No one showed up in this game. No one. Like, there's no one. I mean, yeah, you could pick a couple, like Maxwell Harrison had a nice interception. Cole Bishop, the guy you should apologize to every week, had a nice pick. That's it. Like, there's nothing else like going on. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I see a lot of people, whether it's in the live chat or on Twitter or on Facebook, wherever, Blue Sky, you name it, I don't care.
Blue Sky.
Injuries, Bills injuries. True, but you know what? In all due respect, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate you so much for listening to the show. But if you use injuries as a 1% reason why the Bills lost this game, you can stick it up your ass, because that's just freaking ridiculous. Chop Robinson didn't play in this game for Miami. Rasul Douglas, your boy, who, by the way, far and away has been their best. And this tells you how bad their secondary is. He's easily been their best corner this year.
Because he's good. He's good.
He didn't play in this game. 2 starting offensive linemen have been on IR for several weeks. Fucking Darren Waller looked like the second coming of Jesus at tight end for 3 weeks. He got hurt. He's not playing. Tyreek Hill, their most explosive player, he's been on IR. So stick the injury excuse directly up your ass about anybody. What?
And they traded their defensive lineman to the Eagles.
Yeah, they traded Jalen Phillips. Dude, Miami, I'll run it off real quick here. 24th in yards per game, 28th in yards per play, 29th in EPA per play, 28th in yards per pass, 29th in EPA per pass, 30th in rushing defense, 28th in rushing yards per play allowed. This defense from top to bottom, against the pass, against the rush, absolutely positively sucked coming into this football game. And they looked great against the Bills offense, which again, Joe, not all turnovers are equal. You've said that before, and you know what? This time you're right. 3 turnovers for the Bills, 2 for Miami. Miami's 2 turnovers are basically long arm punts on third down from Tua, both of them, literally.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bills' 3 turnovers were all inside Miami territory. Big fucking difference in this game, man. It really was. It really was. I'm going to ask you this. Getting back to the receivers real quick. So Dalton Kincaid leaves with the hamstring injury, and it did not look good. He was walking very gingerly. All right? We know what Keon Coleman is. Curtis Samuel has just been absolutely, positively irrelevant. Elijah Moore, who cares? Tyrell Shavers had a catch. Okay, let's have a parade. You know, I'm not trying to be an asshole towards Tyrell Shavers. He's not a bad player, but he ain't moving no needle. Khalil Shakir's getting 3 yards a catch, it feels like, for the last couple of weeks right now. You know what's... Think about it. Without Dalton Kincaid, this might be one of the very worst tight end / wide receiver rooms in the entire NFL right now. Like right near the bottom. That's how bad it is without Dalton Kincaid.
They're fucked. I mean, in terms of that wide receiver room. I mean, look, it's been there. I've talked about it ad nauseum for 2 years now, 3 years. But yeah, it's pretty damn bad right now. And I don't know if I now that the trade deadline's over and we can't hey, they could do this, they could do that. Like, we're gonna have to look in the waiver wire. You and I should do a podcast call. Can we get this guy? Can we get that guy? Like, what's John Brown doing? What's your boy Cole Beasley up to? What's who else am I missing? It's just kind of it's bad right now.
Central Florida Freedom in the live chat said, long-suffering Dolphins fan here. I think that's what he meant. I expected the Bills to blow us out. Listen, buddy, thank you for coming in. Everybody expected the Bills to blow the Dolphins out. I think the Dolphins expected the Dolphins to get blown out. And you know what's funny? It's the most ironic shit, Joe. So the Miami gets the football to start the game, right? First snap, what happens? A penalty. Then what happens? Second snap. They call timeout. So they had a penalty and a timeout before they even had their snap. Third down, what happens? Tua throws an interception. I'm like, well, there it is. There's your Miami Dolphins. A penalty, a wasted timeout, and an ugly-ass Tua pick right off the bat on the first fucking drive of the game. Bills get the ball, and they go 3 and out, and they punt, which I did not agree with, and I was very vocal about it at the time, too. They punted on 4th and 1. I think anything under a yard should be automatic Josh Tush-push. I think it should be automatic. Detroit goes for that. Philly goes for that. The Bills don't. They punt it. So that shit was really frustrating right off the bat.
Yeah.
But my point was, Miami, just literally came into that game, felt like ready to just be Miami, which has been shitty the whole time. But again, the Bills punt on 4th and 1. Then the next time they get the ball after Miami scores, it's 4th and 1 from just inside Miami territory, and they go for it. What do? They roll it out, and Josh Allen tries to hit Jackson Dawes down the field. And that's a Joe Brady thing to me. Waddle cooks Max Searson in the first half. James Cook fumbles when they're fucking driving. It was just spinning around in mud right now talking about this game.
They were not prepared for today. And it felt like that Tua interception, in the third play of the game, it felt like it was 5 years ago by the time the third quarter rolled on. But again, shitty first half by the offense. I think Josh Allen had 60 yards passing by the first.
75, but it was 9 of 15 for 75 yards, and it was not pretty.
Terrible first half. Like that's the thing. Like it was just it felt a little bit like the Atlanta game, a little bit, where it was kind of like the defense started off like shit, the offense was in, and then the defense kind of figured it out a little bit in like the third quarter, and then the offense couldn't do shit. And
where did it feel like the vibes were off for you in this game? Was there a specific moment? Do you look at a moment where you just say, man, this is just not our day? Like, was there one specific moment for you? Maybe there wasn't. I have one.
I would just say for me, it was a little bit of just seeing Josh Allen running all over the field. Like he was Randall Cunningham running backwards and spinning around. Like that was when he had like 7 of those moments. And that was when it just felt like, oh, this is not good. But you go ahead.
I think for me, where it just didn't feel like a Buffalo Bills game, I know this is going to sound dumb because they had already dug themselves into a hole. And maybe they don't do anything anyway, but there's about 30 seconds left in the half. It's 3rd and 5. They're on the 24-yard line. Miami's got no timeouts, mind you. And the Bills surrendered. They just ran Ty Johnson up the middle and went to halftime. It's like, run a play. Are you incapable? And this is what I'm talking about. There's a lack of confidence right now in the Bills throwing the ball when the opponent knows that you're throwing the football. You're telling me that this offense is sunken so far, and you still had 2 timeouts to Bills, that you don't have confidence in your MVP quarterback to find a guy for 12 to 15 yards getting out to the 35, 40-yard line. Then you still got a timeout and about 18, 19 seconds left. You could still, run a couple things and maybe you get a field goal. They fucking threw the towel in, though. They literally surrendered. Now, if Miami had timeouts and you get stopped and you're like, I don't want to give Miami the ball maybe at the 30-yard line with the timeout or two, but they didn't have any timeouts. To me, that was some gutless, cowardly, bullshit Joe Brady stuff right there. I'm telling you, man, I have talked myself during this show tonight. I have talked myself into saying the Bills could move on from Joe Brady, and I think it would be the right move.
Like right now, like this season.
As of right now, this minute.
Right now. Get him out of here.
Seriously. I mean, why do you surrender the first half? You got Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And you got 2 timeouts in 26 seconds. It's 3rd and 5. It's not 3rd and 13. If it's 3rd and 13, I get it. It was fucking 3rd and 5, and you ran Ty Johnson up the middle and just threw the white flag in and wanted to get to the locker room.
And it's sorry to yawn.
I'm boring, Joe.
No, I'm sick. It's against Miami. Miami is Josh Allen's BITCH. They've always been that. And like today was like not that way.
BITCH.
Yeah, I don't like saying the word bitch. I'm just being nice. I don't know. I'm just being nice. Yeah, like he's kicked their asses forever. And like today he just got like he was terrible. I mean, look, he had the 300 yards, and it's one of those things like 5 years from now, we'll be like, oh, Josh had 7 300-yard games against Miami or something like that for his career. And it's like, but I'm going to be like, no, there was one that he didn't count. Like, don't use this one. But they were just sloppy. They were really sloppy. And it's like it felt like the New England and the Atlanta game with the offense. Just sputtering, didn't have an identity, didn't know what they wanted to do. Josh panicking. And it's just a bad game. And now it's like I don't have that much hope because look, you can talk yourself into, hey, it's another lull. The Bills were 6-6 one year and they went 11-6 twice. Actually, they've done that, and they're 6-3. You can get yourself into that mindset. But the problem is, to me, and you said it earlier on the podcast, this roster just isn't good anymore right now. It's not good due to negligence, due to injuries. There ain't no damn like as Rick Pitino said once, like Larry Bird and Robert Parrish ain't walking into this locker room, or Stephon Diggs and John Brown aren't walking into this locker room to save the day. Hey, by the way, did you notice Matt Milano today? Did he do anything? I'm
going to get to him. I'm about to get to him.
I'm sorry.
Right quick, but I want to say one thing, man. Matt C. 6641 said, a new offensive coordinator isn't going to fix the offense, Pat. They have 0 effing talent. I actually disagree with that 100%. I do think that there is playmakers and talent there. Elijah Moore has played well before Buffalo at times. Curtis Samuel has done some good things. Dawson Knox has even had, in the past, some good. I think there's more. I think there's more to be had with Keon Coleman as well. Maybe playing him a little differently. There's things that you could do with this offense. I don't think it's just completely a void of talent on the offense. Defense, though, maybe another story. I'm going to take another 5-second break on the video side. We'll talk about the defense and kind of put a wrap on this team going forward. I said right before our quick little break here that I don't think it's a talent issue on the offense. I think it's more of a schematic coordinator issue than anything else. And I think Josh Allen's got to play better, but, that kind of goes without saying.
That's a bullshit take. The offense has talent issues right now, dude. I don't know.
I'm not saying they don't have issues.
No, they have talent issues. There's less talent on the offense than there. Take Josh Allen out of the equation.
So what you're telling me is that Mac Hollins being lost is a big loss.
God.
Well, it's got to be, because that's the only difference from last year, Joe. It's the same offense, but Mac Hollins is in. Or now he's gone, and he was in last year. And Amari Cooper don't mean shit. He didn't do anything.
Okay, no, that's bullshit. That's bullshit again. You're gaslighting me. Amari Cooper didn't mean a lot that first month he was here because film bros like you and Cover One and Bruce
I'm not a film bro. I'm not a film bro.
Bro, you're gonna tweet out vines tomorrow. Like you can't wait, and you can't. I know you can't wait.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm not gonna.
I know you're excited. No, but Amari Cooper last year. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The first month he was here, everyone was like, "Oh, his numbers aren't great, but he's keeping defenses honest." And they don't have anyone to do that right now. So no, their talent is not there. It sucks. And like James Cook's been the MVP, Josh is lost, and I got a text message from one of my friends. I'm not gonna say who because you might know who she is, but like she started talking about Haley Seinfeld, like, oh, maybe Josh, maybe that crap, and I was like, no, it's not. Don't go there. Giselle,
I don't think
Tom Brady.
No. Josh, I don't think for a second Josh has lost his competitive passion. I don't think the fire in his belly is burned out whatsoever. I do think Josh Allen has developed a major lack of confidence in his team, in his receivers, maybe his coach too. We'll circle back to that because we got to talk defense for a minute. I mean, they did play pretty shitty defense too. Mm-hmm. First of all, I think Christian Benford not playing really hurt this team. Max Harrison had an interception. He did some nice things. He got cooked. He got cooked by Jalen Waddle at least twice, one for the long touchdown. I ain't mad about it. You're going to learn, it happens. Great receivers get cooked by great corners get cooked by great receivers. I'm not mad at Max Harrison. I'm glad he got that experience. He did have a pick too. But this team could have used Christian Benford in this game. But again, I'm not going to make any injury excuse. Bro, here's the thing. You want to talk about a lack of talent? Daquan Jones, who's not a very good defensive tackle anymore, said, you know what? I'm going to be not very good at two positions because I'm going to have to start taking edge reps in this football game. That happened after Landon Jackson got hurt. Javon Sullivan's playing inside because guess what? I guess Sean McDermott thinks he's another Michael Hoyt. Newsflash, he's not. But anyway, he's out there. Daquan Jones is playing the edge. I'm looking at Jordan Phillips playing probably half the snaps for this football game. Trey White starts. Hold on. Let me run through. Let me give you the run through of scrubby ass Bills players right now.
My apologies, Hulk. Go ahead.
Trey White. I'm just getting all my offense in. Trey White starting, whatever. Trey White was actually fine in this football game, other than he doesn't like to tackle very much. Though he did have a nice run blitz. Anyway, he gets banged up. Dane Jackson comes in, immediately gets cooked for a touchdown. Again, let me say the name. Dane Jackson. Jordan Poyer. Do you remember? You love using the term ball washing. So the ball washing of the week was on what a great impact Jordan Poyer has made to this defense.
He hugged Cole Bishop after the game, man.
Jordan Poyer wasn't exactly an asset to the Buffalo Bills defense in this football game. We'll leave it at that, okay?
Hey,
Jordan Poyer is who he is.
That missed. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that missed tackle.
It's brutal.
That's what we saw the last couple of years. Like that was exactly the play we saw.
That's who he is at this point of his career, and that's okay. It's not his fault that he's out there. That's what I'm saying. And then the lesson, and you brought this up. They're not old. Like all the guys I just mentioned, Daquan and Dane Jackson and Trey White and Jordan Poyer and Phillips, washed, man. They're not the same players they well past their prime. Linebackers ain't that old. Matt Milano, what is he doing? That might have been the most ineffective, he's just out there football game I've ever seen from him. And Terrell Bernard continues to be a liability more than an asset. This guy's only 26. I think he's the oldest 26 player in the world. I feel like he's 34 years old the way he's playing right now. It is bad. He's awful. He's not good. And he signed. That was an awful extension from Beane, dude. God.
I think you're going a little bit too hard on that.
On who?
I think all of them. No, I think injuries, you have to mention injuries. And I'm going to give it a little bit of excuse on the defensive side of the ball. I am. I'm sorry. Everyone is hurt. Ed Oliver, your boy, who you hated and loved, and now he's dead. He's gone. He's an all-pro. He's not an all-pro, but he's a Pro Bowl caliber great player. Gone.
Sure.
Your edge rushers, gone.
Like, no.
Your boy
both their starters played this game. Bosa, Greg Rizzo. That's $20 million and $12.6 million respectively.
I thought Bosa had an okay game. Rousseau didn't do much.
He had a club on his wrist. Hurt again. Or he's hurt like everyone else.
The Cowboy Bob Orton club thing he had.
Linebackers, both were starters.
But the interior's fucked. And when your interior defensive line is fucked, that means your linebackers are fucked because they don't have a clear path. Well, but look, I agree. Look, oh shit, sorry.
Joe's throwing his mic on the audio side.
I'm sick. What do you want me to do? My apologies. but like when you have your defensive tackles are I don't know, they're not there what they used to. It's going to affect your linebackers. But you're right. I agree with you. You are right. But I think the injuries do have a little bit of factor. But like, you're more right that I was just trying to be a contrarian and sick. But Matt Milano, but you're right. Matt Milano, like. Terrible, it's just someone asked in the chat earlier about like, do you wish you can rework the Knox and Matt Milano extension and bring back Tremaine Edmonds? Yes, I do. Because
my God, I would.
Because sadly, Dawson Knox has been garbage. He doesn't do anything except play air guitar during fucking the Killer song. And Matt Milano, when he signed his extension after his All-Pro season, he can't stay healthy, and now when he's there, he's invisible. And that's. I get it. Like, hey, like, the Brandon Beane fanboy will be like, well, it made sense at the time. You're like, yeah, it did. But you know what? I don't get paid 7 figures or whatever he gets paid to be, to make decisions. So, like, you should have figured it out. You're an expert, buddy. And, that those extensions haven't.
I'm not giving the linebackers any slack at all. I mean, DeQuan Jones played in this game. Deion Walker played in this game. Larry Ogunjobi played in this game. Jordan Phillips.
I mean, it's a weird game. It was a weird defensive game because like the first half they looked like ass. They gave up 16 points. Even when the Bills had that third turnover, they were still down by just 10. So it wasn't like 30-6 at that point.
I think the Josh fumble broke the defense's back because HA got those 2 long runs in the fourth quarter. Yeah. They were done at that point. They just wanted to get to the bus.
But it's just, man. I don't know, man. It's tough right now. I don't have a firm grasp on this team right now. And I know we're talking big picture later, and I'll get to my big picture later, but...
Well, let me ask you a question. Okay. When is the last time that you can remember that you've seen either Terrell Bernard or Matt Milano make a really significant play?
1975. I don't... Dude, you're right. It's been a while. And the only thing I can think of is, like, the interior defensive line... Not being there, not being healthy has affected them.
I don't agree with that. Ed Oliver's a stud, but man, he shouldn't be. You need Ed Oliver out there for your linebackers to be useful. Everyone else is out there.
It's a valid point. And I think Matt Milano's done. Like that's a sit. They should have been done with him last year when he was injured. Like 2 years in a row, the dude's hurt and weird injuries. They should have been done with him.
If Shaq Thompson could go next week, he's missed the last few weeks with a calf. But if he's healthy and he could go, should he start ahead of Matt Milano? Or should Dorian Williams, should one of those 2 guys start over a healthy Matt Milano next week when the Bills play Tampa Bay?
I'm to the point to maybe they should just run a 3-4 defense now because they don't have enough defensive linemen and they just have their edge guys and they have no interior guys.
Do you want an extra linebacker out there? They
think about it. Wait, think about it. I'm going to think about it. You got Milano, Thompson, you got Doreen Williams, and who's the other guy?
Bernard.
Bernard, yeah, come on, that's great. No, it would be terrible. Yeah, sure, I'll start Shaq Thompson over Milano, but you know what?
What about Bernard? Do you? All right, let me ask you this: does Sean McDermott have the balls? And I would say, based on his play, you and I, content creators, media, analysts, fans, Bills Bro Beat, Film Bros, whatever you want to call them,
Bills
Joe.
TMZ, don't forget them. Go
Bills
ahead.
TMZ. I think everybody would like to see
They worked so
a
hard this week
healthy, a
during
healthy,
deadline.
a healthy, a healthy Shaq Thompson over a healthy Terrell Bernard. Maybe Terrell Bernard's not healthy. Maybe he's going through something like Taylor Rapp did, and we don't know about it. That's the only explanation I could have because he's been hot garbage. He has been maybe with Taylor Rapp out now for 3 weeks. I think Terrell Bernard might have taken over the lead for Bill's least valuable player this season. Who else has been the least valuable player? Let's have a little fun. Give me your power ranking for me. Give me your top like three
Valuable.
Bills least valuable players.
That's supposed to be good. Like I can't give it like, Solomon or whatever.
Either it's supposed to be supposed to be good or / you have expectations for going into the season. Your 3 least valuable players. Bernard's one for me. I'll give you.
Yeah, Bernard won. I would definitely go with that. Defensively, I have your boy Taylor Rapp hasn't done anything. I mean, he's hurt.
Yeah, but he doesn't play now, and I never really.
Sure. You hated him. I mean, he's.
I think one of them was right there on the screen. By the way,
Coleman,
Coleman,
yes,
easy pick.
Coleman. Elijah Moore hasn't done anything. I mean, I think I picked Elijah Moore having a better season than Palmer, and that might be by default because Palmer's hurt at this point. But Elijah Moore hasn't done dick. And don't forget, he was the OTA darling because he ran good cuts against the grass. Yeah. Who else is there?
Milano.
Oh, yeah, Milano. He hasn't done anything. Dawson Knox is as useless as tits on a bull, as always.
What do you expect from Dawson Knox?
He's making $9 trillion, dude. I know you love him because he has hair and you don't. But, yeah, they've all been. It's
my whole point of the exercise was if you could pick 3 guys, I think you can make a very strong case that 2 of those 3 are linebackers. And linebackers need to be playmakers, and they're not on this football team. Bernard had an interception in week 2 against Tua, and he has literally pretty much done nothing this entire season since that interception. And Matt Milano has pretty much done nothing for the duration of this entire season.
Bernard has had like the Kiko Alonso career so far in terms, and that without remember how good Kiko was.
I know what you're trying to say. Sure,
you know how good he was his rookie year. He was awesome, and then like it was done. He just didn't have it again. You could say injuries, whatever. Bernard having that great second year, it was great. Like he was making splash plays. He made. I know you weren't a fan of him, and like we all were, like not a lot of people were, and then like he was great, and then all of a sudden. It's like a one-hit wonder. He hasn't done shit the last 2 years. I don't know what to tell you.
Marino's legacy said, nobody wants to hear this, but this feels so much like the 1994 Bills that ran out of gas. That kind of goes back to what I was asking you earlier. Do you think that, like, the message with Sean McDermott has got a little stale? Like, is it gone as far as it's going to go with – and listen, I get it, man. It's week 10. The Bills are still 6-3. They're far from done. I know that already. I know that. But – when you play like this against such a shitty football team in your division, it's time to ask these questions. And I feel like I wonder if the Bills reached, like, you just get to a point where you can't respond. You can't answer the bell time after time after time. The Bills, have they hit that wall where they're not going to be able to answer the bell now?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not. I know you want me to give you a hot, like, yes or no. I don't know about the message, but there are things that he needs to go. And look, I love this comment. Read Diving Pickle. Good comment.
Go ahead.
Oh, Pat, you and all the fanboy Homer media were drooling over Milano at camp. Yeah, you were fucking drooling over camp. That's why camp is bullshit. It's Crystal Lake camp with Jason killing people. It doesn't matter.
I'll tell you this. Points for you in the annual fight about training camp meanings dick. Because points for you on this. Because, look, Matt Milano was a monster at camp. Keon Coleman was a monster at training camp. Those were the 2 standouts this year at camp. And Tyrell Shavers was the darling. He was the darling at camp. He was the underdog Cinderella story at camp.
I'm still waiting for Buffalo Joe to make his impact from that amazing 2024 camp he had, which he hasn't done dick. And at all, except get $100 for promoting a club at freaking Lancaster or somewhere. But yeah, I don't know about the message being like dead, but I will just say the vibes are definitely off, and I think we're gonna find out next week's a big ass game too. It's just a big ass game because they lose next week. The vibe, I mean, look, they'll be 6-4, but the vibes are not going to be the same. And to go back to that comment, the '94 guy, I'm a nostalgia guy, and the thing about the '94 team was like they lost like their two tackles, like Howard Ballard and Wolfer were gone, and they did have a little bit of a staleness of the defense, even though it was the same exact players, and that's what happened. And they fired Walt Corey. There is that stagnant with the offense, with Joe Brady. Joe Brady was great last year. We all loved him. We didn't want him to go. And then now it's just like he's running the same shit, and you have to evolve in the NFL. And the Bills didn't do enough this offseason to evolve. They just said we're running it back, and I've heard this running this back shit a couple different times under the Brandon Beane regime, because Brandon Beane is like, oh my God, the cap. We can't go for these guys because we have to draft and sign 100 defensive linemen because that's how the Carolina Panthers developed their dynasty. It's through the defensive line, I guess. And now it's come back. And I'll ask you this, and because this has been kind of going through my head a little bit, like, I don't want to say you want the Bills to lose this year, but man, it's like one of those things like, man, if they make a run and do what they always do, and then it's like they don't really make that many changes. I'm not saying I don't know what the changes would be. Like, I'm not here to sit there and go they'd fire a coach or GM. I'm not saying they would do that, but my biggest wish list has always been, and you know this, Pat, we've been talking for 7 years or 10 years, more than that, is to create an offensive doom. And if they struggle and Josh Allen still struggles, like in the offseason, they will finally figure this out and go, you know what? F these 75 defensive linemen rotation of doom. Let's get a number one wide receiver. Let's draft like 3 wide receivers in the first day or first 3 rounds. Like do the same thing they always do. And there's that part of me because that wants that a little bit, because Brandon Beane loves to bring out his old receipts. Like, oh, look at what the offense did last year. This is why we had to go and get defensive line help. Or look at my Carolina Panthers NFC Championship ring from 2005. And there's a part of me that's just like at this point where I'm just like, maybe they need to be like 10-7 and just die in the wild card. So they go out and go, we need to redo this offense or these players. Because I really do think they've been negligent against the offense. Brady is he's on his way out of here possibly. I mean, you've already convinced me. I don't think they're going to fire Beane or McDermott no matter what happens, unless there's some infighting there and they've just been covering it up. And, we know the Bills bro beat won't do anything except take selfies of people at the fucking airport going to Miami.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, that's the truth. Don't look at you trying to be like, I like them. They're my friends. They're my guy. They're my guys.
My guys. Stop talking shit about my guys, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't talk shit about my guys. You're right. Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are not getting fired unless it would take Josh Allen, and we've talked about this, it would take Josh Allen going to Terry Pegula directly and saying, yo, this ain't working, man. Come on. Got to get rid of these guys. Maybe then something happens. Otherwise, I think no chance. I think Joe Brady getting fired is on the table. I don't think it's really on the table this season. I think the biggest thing they would do is maybe give Aaron Cromer play calling duties, which, hey, if your team throw the ball, I don't think you're going to fucking like that very much if Aaron Cromer becomes the play calling.
What was he? He was the OC in Chicago.
I think the Rams.
It
was Chicago. I don't know.
It was Chicago with Jay Cutler, and that's when there was controversy because I think he shitted on Jay Cutler behind the scenes, and it got out that he was shitting on it.
Do you know one of my biggest takeaways from this season now at this point is this whole week between the trade deadline and this game and Brandon Beane talking to the media? I think Brandon Beane knows that he dropped the ball by not doing more this offseason to get a wide receiver. Now, in fairness, again, Josh Palmer's been hurt. But Josh, listen, I like Josh Palmer, I think, more than you do. But I'm also not going to sit here. But I'm not going to sit here and say Josh Palmer is a number 1 caliber wide receiver. I'm not going to say that shit. I think Brandon Beane is learning this year that Josh Allen needs to have a dependable go-to receiver. And I think he desperately wanted it to be Keon Coleman. But I think at this point, this team knows that it's not Keon Coleman. I wonder how long They're going to continue to try to
Well,
force that. And if they go to Gabe Davis at some point, and last thing, is there? I wonder how I'd love to know what the relationship is between Josh and Keon, at least on the football field. I'm sure they're cool off it, but I wonder what it's like.
yeah, I don't really care about that. But I will say this about the relationship. But I want to go back real quick because you ignored me. Isn't there a part of you that does think that maybe them kind of
No,
being meh is better for them long term?
nope, nope.
Why? Why?
Because I think
You
Brandon
really
Beane
think?
knows. I think Brandon Beane knows now that they have to go get receiving help. I think Brandon Beane knows that already. Whether they finish 10-7 and miss the playoffs or losing the wild card round, or whether they get to the AFC title game again or even the Super Bowl, they know that they need to get better at wide receiver. And I think that's your biggest beef with this team. I think that's a lot of people's biggest beef with this team. I think it's my biggest beef with this football team. It's that and their undying loyalty to bringing back guys that are just not fucking good anymore. You can't find a 6th round, a 7th round, an undrafted guy off waivers. You're telling me you can't find somebody who's better than Dane Jackson? I mean, what are we doing here? Dane Jackson got cooked for a touchdown in this game. So it does matter. It does matter. He played in this game and he hurt this team. He shouldn't be out there. He's not good enough.
See,
It's just straight up.
I disagree with you. I think they have to
Wow.
have. No, I agree with all of what you're saying. I don't disagree. I disagree with you thinking they're going to make changes if they go to 10 and they go to 11-6 and like win a wild card and lose the divisional round. I don't. I think they are stubborn. I think they're a little bit arrogant. And hey, in certain places, they earned that. They got the Bills out of the drop. They won 6,000 division titles in a row. I think they're going to just sit there and go, it's all about defense. They listen to them talk about defense and
It could be.
physicality
It
and
could be.
physicality. They ball wash old school football. Okay, and I don't know, and I've been saying it since 13 seconds, since the Bengals game, since like they scored 7 points against the Chiefs in the freaking second half in that playoff game where Diggs dropped the ball or whatever, that they needed to address this, and they didn't, and they kept being like, "Well, we gotta get this defense, the defense, the defense, the defense." And right now, the defense ain't great right now. It's not holding its own, and I think that's what they're going to go to next year. It's going to go to old reliable, and we're gonna draft 75 defensive linemen of doom, and then Brandon Beane will have tears in his eyes and go, "Oh, I tried to trade for a wide receiver." And then the Bills bro beat will be like, "Oh my God, this guy's trying so hard. Can't wait to golf with him at the Boyko Golf Invitational." And then like that's what's gonna happen. And the only way it doesn't happen is if they kind of go 9-8, 10-7, and shit the bed a little bit. I'm telling you. You don't want to believe me? Don't believe me. I don't care.
You know, I know you're not going to like hearing this because I know how much they spent between free agency and the draft on defense. But
Matt,
I'm telling you right
they,
now,
they want Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly's coming in.
if you look at this football team right now, they need a receiver, but this offense is closer to being really good than this defense is. They need a safety really, really bad. They need a safety. They need at least one, if not two, linebackers. Shaq Thompson's 31 years old and he's never healthy, and he's your best linebacker right now. They're going to get linebackers. They're probably going to get another edge because Landon Jackson is going to be probably out for most of next year already.
And
so they're going to invest in the defense a lot more this offseason than the offense.
And that's the wrong move. And I salute. Josh Allen is going to have the Cam Newton career trajectory of he's just going to get killed and he's going to throw the ball to himself and that's it. And they're going to wax poetically about the Carolina Panthers run in 2004 with Jake Delhomme and Steve fucking Smith.
We got guys in the live chat saying they're going to bet their left nut that the Bills draft a wide receiver in the first round. Listen, maybe they do, but I would bet my left nut that the Bills get an established number one wide receiver this offseason. They were in play for Jalen Waddle. They were in play for other significant receivers. I think they were in play for Brian Thomas Jr. and just things didn't work out or whatever, or the other teams. And you could tell.
Trade for everyone. I would trade my next 3 firsts for Waddle and for Thomas. Just forget it. And fuck the defense. I'm done with this defense shit.
You know what's wild?
Go ahead. Patrick.
You know what's crazy about this season, maybe more than anything else? You go in and you're like, all right, well, you got Baltimore and you got Kansas City. Got to beat these teams because I don't want to play them on the road in the playoffs. I want to play them in Orchard Park.
Yeah.
Well, they go out and they beat Baltimore, and Baltimore's already got 5 losses. They beat Kansas City, and Kansas City's already got 4 losses. The Bills are ahead of both of them in the standings. But you know what? The way things stand right now, I think Baltimore's got a better chance of winning their division than the Bills do. I think Kansas City's still got a better chance of winning their division. They'll get their shit together than Denver or the Chargers. So it might end up in January, despite the fact that they were a couple games clear of them, despite the fact that they beat both those teams. The Bills might play Baltimore or Kansas City in the playoffs, but it's not going to be at Highmark Stadium because it certainly looks like the Patriots got the inside edge to win the division. You have to go to the road. So you're going to end up having to play the Chiefs in Arrowhead or Baltimore at M&T Stadium, wherever the fuck that stadium is. Anyway, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait. It's going to be
Bills are in serious. The Bills are in serious jeopardy of not winning this division. That's if you want to take away one big season takeaway from this game, that's it. The AFC East is in big jeopardy right now, especially with New England beating Tampa on the road, by the way. So
would you trade Sean McDermott for Mike Vrabel? We're just shits and giggles. Don't worry. No one's gonna remember this when I ask this question.
God, I don't know, man. I if I were to do it, it would be because I just think 9 years to be with a team and not get there after 9 years is just, it's an awful long time. And if you don't get there in 9 years, how many coaches have gotten there long, before they got to their first Super Bowl?
Bill Cowher.
Okay, well,
Bill Cowher
out of.
Oh no, well, he did get there. He won his late in his career, his first one. But anyways,
I want to repeat this now. So the Bills, we all know the Bills play at New England in Week 15, and New England just passed a big test. They're a game and a half up. Plus the Bills had a division loss today. New England's playing at home against the Jets, on the road against Cincy, at home against the New York Giants, which, by the way, Brian Dable got fired today.
What? Wait, he got fired, Brian Dable?
I think he did.
What? No.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. He might have gotten fired. If he didn't, he's going to. They're done. Anyway, forget if I even said that. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. But anyway, they're playing the Giants in Foxborough, okay? Then they're on a bye before the Bills. Then they got to play at Baltimore. But then their last 2 games at the Jets in Miami. So let me reiterate that. New York Jets at Cincy. New York Giants, Buffalo, Baltimore, at New York, Miami. I see 2 to 3 losses maximum there for New England. And things would have to go wrong. And it was a fake report. He did not get fired. He should get fired. He's going to get fired, but he's not fired. Anyway, don't matter. Him and Sean McDermott, I'll let you in a little secret here, ain't going to work together again. All right?
Yeah, they don't like it. Unless Josh forces it and
not going to happen. No. But anyway, my whole point was New England's got a cupcake schedule, bro. They play the Bills at home and the Ravens on the road. And outside of that, they're going to be significant favorites to win every game. They're going to go 13, maybe 13-4.
I don't know if they'd be significant favors against the Ravens on the road.
No, except those 2 games.
Oh, my apologies.
So if they win 4 losses, they're at 2. They lose 2. Let's say they lose to the Bills and the Ravens. That's 13-4. Yeah. Maybe you give them one somehow fluky, crazy loss. Worst case, they're going 12-5. The Bills might have to win out here to win this division. Maybe one more loss at the most is the most they can afford, and it can't obviously.
I'm
against New England.
I'm at the point, Pat, where I would like the division, but I was more about the 1 seed and getting home field. That was what I wanted. If they don't get the 1 seed and they just have home field for 2 rounds, it doesn't move me as much. So
it's not dead yet, by the way. The Bills are. All the tough Bills, with the exception of New England, the Bills' tough games are at home. They're at home against Tampa this week. Well, that's not true because then they're going to Houston on short rest, at Pittsburgh, Cincy at home, at New England, at Cleveland, Philly, and the Jets at home. I said, hey, if you're a Bills fan, Highmark Stadium, you might want to make sure you pay at all costs now that ticket for that Jets finale because that might be the last home game ever there. There might not be postseason home games.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and that game. I don't think the Bills are going to play their backups in that game. So
Well, if they don't
like,
if they have a
like we
wild
thought.
card locked up, they will.
I know, but I don't think it's as like easy as it's been the last couple of years. So,
all right, I'm about out of shit, man. Is there anything that you want to say? Anything you want to get to? I'm fucking done with this team for this game. This was very frustrating. It just fell off the whole day to me.
I saw today that Matt Stafford has 28 touchdown passes this year already. He had 20 last year. And that to me who did they add this offseason? Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Good wide receiver. The Rams, I always say, be like the Rams. They're a team that always drafts offensive weapons. They don't settle. And I wish the Bills were more like the Rams in terms of like getting more weapons and just being more aggressive. I wish if you ever asked me like trade, like who would you trade Sean McDermott for? It would definitely be McVay or like their philosophy, because they just sort of like, we're going to help our quarterback more, and the Bills just haven't gotten that. And I just can't believe they're 6-3 and we're miserable. And last week we were kissing the fucking sky
because they just lost to the fucking 2-7 Dolphins.
No,
who
I know.
Been god awful this season.
I agree. I'm just saying I can't believe like the highs and the bipolarness of beating the Chiefs and then losing, like the highs and lows of the last week is just I can't think of many instances during the regular season that we've gone through this, where it's like they look they last week was their best game of the season. This week was their worst.
Yeah, it was definitely their worst. It's just shocking to me that how they came out this flat. I mean, how do you let that happen? They've done this before. They've been in lows. They beat Kansas City, and that gets them going on a roll.
Yeah.
And just a pathetic, inexcusable, disgraceful effort here.
Yeah.
In Miami today. It's just.
Yeah, it was just bad. And just something, like, one thing, too, this random thing. Why the hell was Ray Davis attempting the onside kick? Does anyone know? Like,
because
why?
the special teams, said our offense and defense are playing fucking terrible. So let's see if we could do something stupid on special teams so that we could at least get mentioned on Talking Buffalo at some point. I don't know what the hell that was. My son was quiet almost the whole game, very annoyed, but he kind of lost his shit at that point. It's like, Matt Prater's your kicker. You don't trust him more to attempt an onside kick? Like, what's Ray Davis's specialty? Like, what was he going to do that Matt Prater couldn't do?
I don't know. Like, he was my only thought was like they were trying to do the. Do you remember when Steve Christie got, like, we covered his own onside kick in the comeback game and Mark Pike like blew up some dude? Because he just kicked it like forward. I think that the what they want to do is to have the kicker kill the guy, and Ray Davis is a big dude, and he was gonna knock his ass out. I don't know what the fuck that was, but anyways,
to me, this game was an indictment on a lot of things, but I think this game, maybe more than anything else, was an indictment on Brandon Beane. And I'll leave you with this too. The Bulldog, WGR 550, got to give him credit for saying this. He said, Brandon Beane was clearly annoyed and upset that the Bills didn't make a trade. He said the Bills played this game like the Bills were upset and annoyed that they didn't make a trade in this game. I don't know. I feel like they needed an injection, and he only had a plan A. It seems like he didn't have any kind of plan B. There had to be somebody out there who could have helped this team.
That tells you, maybe it can tell you that he feels the pressure, but he didn't give up the world. You know what I mean? And maybe he thinks he has longer rope to be.
He could be in the mix more. What is he? He just wants to be in the mix year after year after year after year after year. That's how this team is. They want to be in the mix, and maybe a couple breaks will go their way, and that's how they're going to win the football game. And I'm going to tell you, when I'm mad about Beane not making a trade, I think I might be even more mad about the defense than I am the offense. If we haven't even mentioned the name Quinnen Williams this whole podcast. NFL Network reported that's the guy they were trying to trade with the Jets, an anchor in the middle of the defense. It needed something, man. You're not going to win shit with DaQuan Jones, Matt Milano, and Gerald Bedard and anchoring your defense. And there's nothing coming your way. There's nothing in the pipeline. That's what it is. It's DaQuan Jones, it's fucking Matt Milano, and it's Gerald Bedard. And that's the middle of your defense. And I don't see I don't see it improving. What makes you think it's going to improve? What have you seen? Anybody?
I
What have
think
you seen about the middle
you
of that
know
defense?
what position did you play in high school when you played?
I played a little bit of safety, a little slot receiver, a little bit
Okay, you see,
crafty.
and Shane was when he played, he
He was
was
a
safety.
linebacker.
Yeah, you see, this is the problem. You see, you're too close to too close to defense. You grew up with a defensive household. I'm sick of your defensive takes. No one cares about the defense. They did give up. They had 16 points by the end of the third quarter. The offense sucked. It's about the offense. Stop talking about the defense. I'm sick of this. Because next year they're gonna do. That's why they have to kind of. I don't want to say bottom out, but they may have to go like 10-7 for them to figure out that the offense is an issue. And because I know you want Luke Kuechly 2.0, and they're going to get a safety, and they're going to get this other guy, and they're going to sign some UB prospect that you're going to blow during the freaking OTAs or ball wash. Sorry, I shouldn't say blow. But you're going to do all that. Everyone knows that. I'm sick of the defense. It's all your fault.
Last question for you. What kind of, all right, so most people are listening to this sometime on Monday. Over the next 24, 40 hours, film's going to come out, takes are going to come from film, or
no film
people are going to say, watch the game. What are you expecting to see and hear over the next few days from social media land? Let's put it that way.
I don't listen to that or watch that all that much as I used to. I feel the Bills are going to sign. What's Jerry Hughes up to these days? Is he with the Texans still? They're going to sign him.
No, I don't think he's in the NFL anymore.
They're going to sign
Jerry Hughes.
Jerry Hughes. They're gonna sign a retro player. I'm waiting for them to sign a retro player from years past. John Brown, Jerry Hughes, your boy AJ Klein. Maybe he comes back from Wally World or whatever the hell he is. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Who is Christian Wilkins, by the way? I saw him mentioned by
the Miami Dolphins, number 94. Their defensive tackle used to punch Josh in the nuts and shit like that. He's had 2 surgeries. Freaky dude. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Here's how we're going to end. A 45-second Howard picks the Bills style with you. I don't want no explanations. I want to see where we're at right now, where you think this team is going to finish. No analysis, just a W or an L. Ready? Tampa at home.
Loss.
At Houston.
Loss.
At Pittsburgh.
Win.
Cincinnati at home.
Win.
At New England.
Win.
Ooh. At Cleveland.
Win.
Philly at home.
Loss.
New York Jets at home.
Win. What's our final record?
5. So you had them going 5-3 down the stretch, which would have them at 11-6.
Okay.
To finish the season. So you got them going 11-6. 11-6 is not going to win this division. I'll tell you that.
Okay. So, I mean, look.
Well, I'm just saying.
Burn your 7 in a row T-shirts or 6 in a row, whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know what those are.
Burn them. Burn them. All right, guys. Let's put a wrap on this. Thank you, everybody, on the live side too. Well over 1,200 checking in with us on a really shitty football game several hours later. So. Appreciate all you guys. Who do I have on the show tomorrow? I don't think I have anyone on the show tomorrow. I'm going to watch a lot of... Is there anything you want me to focus on, Joe, with the film? What do you want me to focus on when I watch this film?
I want to know if Jordan Poyer embraced anyone else on the team after the game. No. I want to know... I honestly want to know if there were guys open and Josh missed them. That's like the biggest thing to me. Like, was he or was he panicking? Was he leaving the pocket and all that shit? You know,
those are the 2 things I'm really going to focus on. Are 2 things. Are the wide receivers not getting open as blatant as it feels like it is in the broadcast that everyone's screaming about? So I really want to lock on that. And the linebackers. I want to see if Milano and Bernard were as bad as I think that they were, because it looked bad to me. So I'm going to focus on that. That'll be tomorrow's show. Matt Rich Warren, the 7th. I'll be on Wednesday with our positional analysis. I'm going to be live Wednesday night at Sunny Reds with Chris Baker and Matthew Fairburn.
Yeah.
You know, if the Bills playing shitty ain't bad enough, the fucking Sabres, who might never win a game again, are in a 4-game road
Tell-
trip. But anyway, Baker and Fairburn will be with me.
Tell Baker he's a
Wednesday.
hack for me, please. Tell him he's a
Will
hack.
do. Will do. Will do. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for watching. Brand new show coming up tomorrow.